Welcome to the latest episode of Beatin' and Bangin'. I'm your host, Kyle Dalton. In this video, we've got multiple interesting stories from the All-Star Race weekend at North Wilkesboro, including a fascinating one that happened before the race and shows just what kind of person Kevin Harvick truly is. Another story on the most entertaining driver intros, and our last and most sobering story is the unfortunate side of the sport that reared its ugly head on Sunday when a racist person hijacked Bubba Wallace's team radio and said some pretty disgusting things. We'll talk about that, as well as an interesting gesture the 2311 racing driver made in his post-race interview. Before we talk about that ugliness, let's go back to before the race on Friday. That's when all the Cup Series drivers gathered on the track to capture the significance of the moment in a group photo. Years from now, each driver will be able to say they were there for the Wilkesboro revival. Interestingly, that photo by itself was a special moment in the weekend's festivities. But then Kevin Harvick took that moment and elevated it to the next level, moments after the photographers stopped taking their photos when he literally turned the camera on them. He took the camera from one of the photographers and then snapped off a shot of all the gathered photographers. It was an interesting moment, and he was asked about it later when he met with the media.
That was, I think it's important for you guys to be able to say you were here as well. But that was something that Senior used to do, and he used to always, every time he won, he'd always take a picture of the photographers, and Dale did that a little bit, so I thought it'd be cool for him to take that picture, and I told Harold to send it to Dale. I know he'd like that.
What an amazing weekend for Harvick. First, he brings back the special number 29 with his throwback scheme from that first win in Atlanta in 2001. Then he does that nice gesture for the photographers and Dale Jr. Nice job, Happy. You know Jr. has to love to see how his father's influence still lives on today. Moving to our next story, Kevin Harvick had a cute driver intro before Sunday's All-Star race, carrying out his young, sunglass-wearing daughter Piper in his arms. But it was ordinary compared to several others. Ross Chastain was undoubtedly the king of driver intros, and that's based solely on how the driver was treated during his walk onto the stage. In fact, it wasn't a walk at all, because he was hilariously carried out on the shoulders of two of his crew members. Props to the watermelon farmer for his creativity. Kyle Busch, known for making an interesting driver intro or two of his own throughout his career, also involved his crew members in his walkout, the group taking a joint bow together before walking off the stage. Interestingly, Busch didn't get any boos. That change to RCR has definitely quieted the boo birds for Rowdy. Those same boo birds were loud and clear in several other introductions, including Joey Logano, Denny Hamlin, and Bubba Wallace, who surprisingly played the villain role well. Take a look and listen to all three, and I want to hear what you think. Let me know in the comments section which driver you thought the crowd showered with the loudest boos. And finally, speaking of Wallace, the 2311 racing driver had a solid outing, earning his best All-Star race result, finishing runner-up behind the rocket ship Kyle Larson was riding. Interestingly, moments after the race, Wallace was interviewed on the national television broadcast and joked about the speed of Larson's car and it being cheated up. That was a noteworthy comment by itself. But that's not what received the attention. Instead, it was a single finger hand gesture that Wallace casually delivered at the very beginning of the interview that everyone was talking about. It appeared intentional. But who was it directed at? Was it a joke? And then things took an even more bizarre turn later when a fan reportedly hijacked the number 23 team radio and revealed he was a racist by his disturbing comments.
Where you came from, you suck and you're not wanted in NASCAR.
NASCAR officials confirmed they are investigating the incident to determine who accessed the channel and how. A 2311 Racing spokesperson later indicated that Wallace did not hear the comments or acknowledge them at the time. So that brings us back to Wallace's middle finger salute. Was it subtly directed at the person who had hacked the team radio? Was it a continuation of him playing the villainous role from the driver intros? Something else? Turns out he was making the gesture as a joke to a team PR person off camera who was telling him to lift his collar to better show the sponsors. All right, guys, that's episode number 4 in the books. Thanks as always for watching the channel. If you like it, please let your NASCAR buddies know about what we're doing. And if you want to read more stories like this video, be sure and check out my articles on sportscasting.com. You can see the link in the description. Hope to see you guys in the next video and have a great rest of your day.